So even hearing skin care is a new concept for me because I was never told to care for my skin. That was not a message that was ever sent to me. I think about growing up, my parents would tell us to put on lotion. Not because it would moisturize our skin, it was good for it, but it was because we better not leave the house looking ashy. More of an aesthetic thing instead of care.
Thanks for watching Skin Health by Lindsay, and you are tuning into what's going to be a 4-part episode series where we are talking about something that I personally feel like is not discussed enough in skincare, which is diversity with skincare, but specifically we're going to be talking about the Black community and how they're related and kind of not spoken about in skincare enough. This beautiful lady here is my friend Latea. We've been friends for almost 10 years. Yes. We used to compete together in an activity called Speech and Debate because we were super cool.
Yes.
And that's what we would do on the weekends instead of party like a normal college student. But because of that activity, it really facilitated us to talk about things like race and gender, and so it just only feels natural that I have you here to help me kind of navigate this conversation.
Definitely.
So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yay! So the first question that I want to ask you is, how has the skincare industry been presented to you?
Definitely. So I do want to start by saying I grew up in a predominantly white community. I had white friends, lots of kids at my school were white, and I bring that up because that environment really shaped my relationship with skincare, and you're going to see that throughout the series here. But initially, I felt like the skincare industry wasn't for me because I saw white women in commercials growing up. I saw them in magazines, and then in my immediate life, it was all white women in terms of beauty. Within my own home, skincare wasn't a priority. We didn't have those kind of products on our counter. I really didn't see my parents engaging in that, so it wasn't something that was taught to me. What was taught to me was the philosophy of black don't crack. I had aunts and uncles, my own grandma, their skin looked beautiful.
Halle Berry.
Yes, Gabrielle Union.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
So as they age, they still stay looking fine. And so I believed that that's just naturally how Black people were because that's what I saw. But just recently, I'm beginning to understand there's care behind that. There are certain things you need to do to make sure your Black doesn't crack.
Yes.
And so I'm starting to wonder, what could I be doing to make sure I'm taking care of my skin?
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously heard black don't crack before, and you know, there is a grain of truth in there scientifically because the more melanin you have in your skin, the more protection you have from UV damage, which is the #1 ager. So you are more protected from photo damage and photo aging. But on the other end of the kind of, it's a double-edged sword. On the other side, I think it's given you this possibly a veil of security. Like you said, you just kind of thought, well, I'm all good. But you might not think about sun care or things. I know we talked about your brother and his experience with acne growing up, that was a struggle for him.
Definitely, and it didn't help that he had a sister who lived out the black don't crack. I never went through an acne phase. Blemishes didn't happen often for me, and so there was this bitterness that he's like, why are you not dealing with this issue? And I am. And for me and my parents, we were trying to help him with his bad acne, but we didn't really know what to do. It was, oh, try Clean and Clear because that's on a commercial. Proactive, that's supposed to help. It wasn't looking at his acne and being like, okay, what kind do you have? How can we match products that match whatever you're dealing with? Because we just didn't know.
Right. And I think for him, not only is he a teenage boy, which it's really hard to get teenage boys to want to kind of wash their face on a regular basis, but then he's probably looking at these proactive commercials where it's a white female celebrity. I mean, I'm sure there was probably no connection to that at all for him, and I'm definitely sure he's not alone in that experience. No. So if you guys were to talk about skincare in the household, what did a conversation sound like?
Sure. So even hearing skin care is a new concept for me because I was never told to care for my skin. That was not a message that was ever sent to me. I think about growing up, my parents would tell us to put on lotion. Not because it would moisturize our skin, it was good for it, but it was because we better not leave the house looking ashy. More of an aesthetic thing instead of care. So I just never got that message growing up.
Right, it's probably more about hiding the differences within your unique skin versus actually making sure that your skin is moisturized.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you mentioned that you grew up in kind of a predominantly white friend group. I mean, parents of friends, teachers, daycare professionals. Around sun care, how did they handle that with you?
So growing up, I went to a ton of summer camps, and I have a very vivid memory of the same experience. It's getting off the bus and the teacher saying, all right, everyone grab your sunscreen, lather up. Oh, but not you, of course, Latea, because you don't need it.
Which is not true, just so you know.
Which I'm just starting to learn.
Yeah.
But at that time, that's what I was told over and over and over again. And it was otherizing me, making me feel different. And when I was young, I wanted so badly to just fit in. And so instead of letting the teacher tell me that I didn't need it, I decided to turn the script and wear it as a badge of honor. Before they could say anything, it was, oh, well, I don't need sunscreen because my skin doesn't need it.
Right.
And so it became a defense mechanism for me. And when you have a defense mechanism for long enough, it becomes a belief. And I truly believed there was no reason for me to protect myself from the sun.
Yeah, and did you ever feel like a sort of stubbornness against wanting to be protected from things like skin cancer?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, skin cancer never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
It was just me having my stance because that's what I needed to hide my hurt, honestly, from being isolated.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, scientifically, research shows that obviously the Black community is less likely to get skin cancer, but in cases that they do get skin cancer, it's more deadly for the Black community. And that is going to be a perfect lead into our next episode, which is going to be talking about all sun care for Black skin. But we'll also have conversations around, lack of diversity with skin research, having all different types of darker skin tones. But it is the least amount is the Black representation in skincare research. The lack of representation in the medical community, like dermatology, and of course in skincare with estheticians. But we'll also open up the conversation more to hair care and beauty and just general kind of beauty marketing as well. So make sure to stay tuned for our next episode about sun care, and thank you for watching.